All right, Michael Gottlieb still with us. How does she get around this one now with the spousal abuse thing? Because now she's claiming, I left him, he could get out at any time. I was expecting him to curl up next to me.
Yeah, she's flip-flopping, so am I. It's really, it's at one point I thought, there's no defense here. Then when you hear those recorded calls, there is a defense. And now here, if she would just endorse that and say, yeah, I was angry at him, I was mad at him, he had beaten me, abused me, choked me before, so I left him there, but I didn't think he was going to die. I was just trying to teach him a lesson. She would have a defense. But here, she doesn't want to own that. She doesn't want to own the drinking, which probably wouldn't help her. And she's so defensive. She's really, obviously, she's going to have a forensic psychologist testify, and they're going to have to explain sort of her reaction, which doesn't endorse any defense, except maybe the accidental, which again might lead a jury to a manslaughter.
And does she have to testify to get to that point, to buttress a medical expert? Or has she done enough talking she's talked several times and the jury's going to see her and hear her own voice?
Typically defense attorneys don't like to put their client on. We don't want to have our client testify because a skilled prosecutor can cross-examine and sort of twist and turn what the client has to say. Again, if she's got a forensic psychologist, which she should, for an affirmative defense of battered spouse, that person, that individual can testify for her and can say, based on my conversations with her, based on my review of the video, this is what I believe really happened here. And she won't need to take the stand. But the jury's going to want to hear from her. The jury is going to want to hear, we were playing a game, this was a mistake, I didn't intend for this to happen. And that's probably the better strategy for getting a not guilty.
Are you surprised there wasn't a deal arrived at? And maybe that's the reason that she had so much trouble with her other attorneys, that they've refused them. We don't know, but it just seems like one of those cases that sort of both sides wouldn't mind cutting a deal on.
I agree with you, because when you look at this case, the government has to prove that they have evidence beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that she intended to commit a murder. I think there is a reasonable doubt. Jurors are, not all jurors are going to agree that she intended to commit a murder. You're going to have a murder. You're going to have a holdout. And that's all she needs is one person to say there's reasonable doubt. So this is the kind of case that likely should be resolved without having to go to trial.
But it is heading to trial next week. On Monday, jury selection begins. Let's get a break in here.